You're live on both YouTube and Twitch now, so that's fun. Okay, so to recap, because what had happened was my stream was not actually public on YouTube. So now I have made my stream public on YouTube, and what we're going to do today. Hi, if you're just now joining from YouTube, I know that's my primary channel. Okay, so today we are going to react to the bigger One Piece theory ever made by Arthur, Library of Ohara. It's probably going to be a two-parter. I'm probably not going to get through the whole thing tonight, except maybe not with that attitude. Maybe I can muscle through and kind of make it last a little bit extra longer. Yeah, that's the proper term for it, because I started about 10 minutes late. But yeah, we'll see how far I get and like if I have anything to say about it as it's going. But first, I wanted to record a little quick video about me live streaming on my channel, because I sent out a post/poll, kind of asking like if I should switch up the nights or something, because I was thinking maybe I should move it from Sunday. But it turns out kind of people either wanted me to keep it on Sunday or they didn't know that I even streamed it all. So I'm going to make a quick little YouTube video, and I'm going to advertise streaming on my channel and tell people to join me Sunday nights at 7. And I'm just kind of thinking through it right now because it'll just be off the cuff, basically. And then after that, we can start the reaction video. So, okay, ready? This is how I record my YouTube videos. Hey, what's up? It's me, Meanie, Mosey, and welcome to my channel. Today, oh, that's like a, oh gosh. And I swear, recording YouTube videos goes exactly like this. I'd say that little intro and then think like I should really make a different intro. Yeah. So here is a little, hey, what's up? It's me, Meanie Mosey, and today I have a little bit of a channel update for you guys. As you all know, adulting is hard unless you're in high school or something, but once you graduate, you will know adulting is hard, and you can get busy and kind of distracted from your goals and everything. But I have found a way to mitigate that, at least in my life, and that is why I'm starting the School Night Nerd Show. This is going to be a live stream that happens every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Central Time, where I just kind of talk about maybe the latest One Piece chapter, kind of anime news that's going on, some of the shows I've been watching lately. I do reactions to different theory videos and different things. Pretty much just chatting, just an hour of me live streaming and interacting with you guys, just so I can continue to be a YouTuber and not just a YouTuber in name only. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, join me on Sunday nights. If that doesn't work for you, there's going to be a recording of the stream every single time. You can go hop on later and comment and everything. And also drop in the comments anything that you would like for me to talk about or discuss or pick my brain about during the chat. Or during the live stream, and I will see you there. Also, I am a brand new live streamer. I don't know how to live stream. I'm faking it until I make it. So you can kind of watch me progress and grow as I kind of build up my stream. I add different types of fun things and fun little sounds and emotes and different types of things. So yeah, join me on my live streaming journey, and let's talk about anime and One Piece. I will also be multi-streaming on Twitch, so if you are a fan of Twitch, then join me on Twitch. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. Whatever. Okay. Anyway, I said it. So, yeah, that's all that I wanted to say, and I will see you guys in the chat on a Sunday night. Bye. So yeah, that is that. And let's get into, oh hi, nothing but bone. Am dying. I haven't slept since yesterday. Oh, I'll get some sleep after this, probably. That's probably good for you. I heard short format stream gets more views or exposure. Yes, I have also heard that I am figuring that out too. I'm using, is it Meld Studio? And so I think that's kind of more of a beta version already. And so I need to figure out how to add this to TikTok and YouTube Shorts. But I know that the YouTube streaming platform is not as developed as Twitch is, or like the discoverability is not as high as it usually is. And yeah, I don't know. I'm figuring it out day by day. And yeah, so okay, so we are going to get into the bigger One Piece theory ever made. I actually recorded like 10 minutes of this before I figured out that this wasn't live on YouTube. So what I was saying about it was basically that I have not seen a lot of Arthur's duplicate. Oops. I think I just messed something up. What I was saying about. Oops. Sorry. Okay. Haha. Okay. Sorry. We're back. Okay. So what I was saying about Arthur the Library of Ohara and the biggest One Piece theory ever made, I haven't really seen any of his videos before. I know he's a large One Piece streamer, but typically I have watched Murphy and Appear and Grand Line Review and also Dude in a Room. Those are kind of the main two that I go to for One Piece information. That and on Instagram and all that. But I know he's a prominent One Piece YouTuber, but I just haven't seen that much of his stuff. So we're going to watch this reaction, or no, we're going to watch this theory video, and we're going to see how far we get today. And if need be, we can go into, we can continue this on the next stream, next Sunday, and kind of finish it up. Because I might have a lot of commentary on what he's going to say. I don't know what he's going to say. And yeah, so if I don't finish it, then the next stream will be me kind of reviewing the One Piece chapter and going over this again. So we are going to get this started. I'm excited. I'm really excited. I don't know what to expect at all. And then maybe after this, I could make my own theory video or something like that. Yeah. I figured this one was more relevant than his biggest One Piece theory ever made. So yeah, alright, let's get started.
Once upon a time, long, long ago, there existed a book. One which detailed the exploits of a valiant hero whose silly, wacky stretch abilities helped liberate people from their suffering by delivering laughter to their faces. This is the story of a man named Joy Boy, the laugh tale they call One Piece.
この物語はフィクションである。貴君の現実に存在する人物、思想、事象とは無関係だ。
Wealth, fame, power, everything in this world can be attained, and yet some would see this not as a bounty to be shared, but as a resource to monopolize. It is this very greed that led our world into the deep darkness of a long night it yet sleeps in. Over a millennia ago, our world lay divided and fragmented, torn asunder by struggle and inequality. Despite the many varied races that inhabited it, there was one that possessed the strongest advantage there can be: numbers. And so the humans took advantage of their...
Oh, he drew this himself. Oh, is this really 7 years? Dang, I guess if you make a 3-hour video, it would be 7 years in the making. But I thought it was funny because that this was made before that whole mural thing was made, so that's neat.
Numbers to take hold of power and make them the dominating species of the planet. Yet even among them, they found ways to divide each other, until some clutched the power at the top, while all others suffered beneath them. Peoples of other races, peasants and prisoners had no choice but to escape. Yet those who could not, like the Tontata, fell to slavery, treated as nothing more than tools to fuel the wealth and power of the human kings who stood at the top. So horrible were the deeds of these kings that those who suffered under them began referring to the cruel tyrants with the moniker of devils. Some fled to the seabed below, some on unreachable peaks, but others took to the skies. Folk who had been blessed with wings, which some called angels, fled the troubled lands of the world below for the celestial body that is the moon, where they developed a civilization that could remain undisturbed by the troubles below. This was the moon capital of Burka, where the angels were able to quickly develop and generate industrialization, reaching a technology far more advanced than anything that came prior. However, in their quest for science, they came upon a critical problem. Creation of energy required the primal source, fire. But to achieve fire, natural resources were needed, the likes of which were simply not available on the barren wasteland that was the moon. As such, left with a lack of resources to propel their technology, the angels of the moon had no other choice but to return to the blue planet below to further the research. Once descended over time, the angels split into tribes in search of different places to inhabit across the seas. Some of them discovered how to use their scientific prowess to alter the density of a substance known as pyroblowing, allowing them to turn clouds into solid land, sky islands, on which some of them settled upon to keep away from the humans. However, another subset of angels decided to locate themselves somewhere else entirely, but still somewhere high above the tides and far away from humans. They built their settlement atop the Red Wall, the titanic continent surrounding the World Tree that was known as the Sun Tree Eve, whose length spanned the entire Red Wall all the way from the sunlight at the top to the roots where Fishman Island lay. This tree brought bountiful nature along with it, providing a veritable Garden of Eden atop the Red Wall, providing natural resources that could develop the technology of the angels even further. Their quest for knowledge advanced, until one day a certain scientist made a groundbreaking discovery, one that would have veritably changed the history of the world. They realized the existence of the bloodline elements, a genetic code that exists.
Did he make this up? Or like, okay, I'm like, did we watch like the same show? Or, I guess it is a theory video. So, I guess he's saying that there is a civilization that lived on the moon. And, like, to be fair, I've never... Okay, I have a long list of One Piece movies that I need to watch. I don't know if any of these are from that. I don't know which movies are canon, if any, or maybe all the movies are canon, I'm not sure. So the angels are, well, essentially the, oh my gosh. Oh, I failed this quiz. Whatever the name of the tribe was that was on Skypiea. They're them. There was the tribe, and then there were the other people that had wings. But both of them had wings, and both of them were on Skypiea. Okay, well, whatever. We'll keep watching.
Within all living beings, essentially the blueprints of life. If potentially the angels could find a way to modify the bloodline elements through genetic
Or there are the Skypiea angels, and then there are the Lunarian angels.
Then they could quite possibly allow their people to live far beyond any other creature. It was very nearly a step into the realm of godhood. And so they eventually did, learning how to bend and alter the bloodline elements of their future children to allow their descendants to slowly evolve into genetically superior creatures.
Okay, those are the
They made their skin
Lunarians.
as tough as steel, attaining a dark color to the point that normal attacks could not harm them. They gained massive black wings that, unlike other angels, actually allowed them to soar through the skies. They gained pure white hair and red eyes, a symbol of strength and unbridled power. And most importantly of all, they gained the ability to self-ignite and generate flames with their bodies. Through this self-ignition, they could circumvent the biggest hurdle that impeded their advancement of science. They essentially now had an unlimited resource at hand, an undying flame allowing them to power all of their technology without limits. Through these advancements, these angels became the strongest form of humanity in all the history of the sea, genetically superior creatures.
But I mean, Vegapunk was referring to the pacifistas, or yeah, okay, well, let's see. Yeah, thank you to anyone in the comments who posts like kind of like filler things. That my brain is working like real hard right now. All movies aren't canon, however, some stuff in it are canon, like Shank's daughter. She is canon. Okay, I still need to watch that. Oh my gosh, I need to like schedule that or something. There was 3 angels and they still lived in the moon. They were working together. When the resource ran out, they probably got separated because balloons aren't reliable. In 1,000 years, they completely forgot. Huh. Ah. I gotta figure out where... Okay, this is gonna make me go back and research or something, because like I need to go back and see where One Piece ever referred to angels or anything like that existing. Because for like the life of me, I can't remember any of that. It sounds like he just kind of made all this up a little bit. I mean, I guess like it is a theory video, so but yeah, it's kind of I'm trying to figure out where he pulled it from. Yeah, okay, we'll keep going.
People began to call them the Lunaria, those who brought blessings from the moon, and due to their lack of understanding
Makes
of this technology,
sense. Okay.
many people created legends around them, treating them like heavenly beings who had descended from the heavens to the planet below to bring judgment upon the greedy humans. People began to venerate them as gods, be it out of admiration or fear, and the settlement they had built atop the Red Wall came to be known as the God Country. But despite their unprecedented might, the Lunaria could not yet circumvent the issue of numbers. While their strength was enough to drive invaders away from their home, it was not enough to protect others beyond their kin. And such power in their hands helped nothing but to attract the envy of many. However, this is where our story would take a critical turning point, as the protagonist of this tale would finally take the stage. The titular protagonist of our story was a young boy of no particular remark who was simply known by the name of Nika. But he was a boy of lofty ambitions who had a grand dream he wanted to accomplish. Story goes that to make this dream a reality, he had set to sea as a pirate in search of freedom, and in his travels he made steadfast friends with people all around the world, adding new members to his crew and forming strong bonds with kingdoms all across, no matter who they were. You see, Nika was an odd fellow, for he did not care what his friends looked or were like, and instead wished to be friends with people from the entire world.
Sounds familiar.
In his grand adventure, he challenged and took down many of the tyrants that oppressed the lands he visited to bring liberation to everyone, taking all the wealth, fame, and power he attained it, not for himself, but to share it with all. Onlookers would remain stunned at Nika's ridiculously wild and stretchy powers, yet the sight of them could not help but bring laughter to their faces. Wherever he went, whichever civilization he touched, Nika would always bring cheer and joy with him, to the point he came to be known by the nickname of Joy Boy. He loved partying and music, singing a certain song that he always loved, beating to the rhythm of his drums, to the point that his infectious joy and optimism endeared all those who heard of him. Nika indeed had lofty ambitions. The boy did not just aim to attain complete freedom, but he wanted to also share that liberation to all people of the world. And he believed that he could put an end to all the pain, strife, conflict, and suffering if he only could make his ultimate dream a reality. To throw the biggest party in the world, a party with the entire world, and thus to connect everyone, as he himself always put it, into one piece. Nika believed that if he could get the entire world's population to...
Okay, so that is his theory about what Luffy's biggest dream is. Okay, so what we know about Luffy's dream right now is that it is not to become the king of the pirates, because he always says that. And then as of late, they've been very secretive about what his dream is, because there was that one clip that he just showed with Yamato and everything, and then there was another scene in the anime where he was talking about his dream, and he said it in like a wave crash or something like that, and then everybody was like, what? And he's like, oh wait, I thought I told you guys. And you're like, no, you never told us that. He's like, oh, I think it's something that could happen once I become king of the pirates. So I would say this is a good swing at it, but they said that it's something that made people laugh. And I guess like if you are Ace and Sabo and you're on like Trash Island or something like that, Trash Mountain, and you heard Luffy say that he wanted to make everybody sing and dance together, I guess you would laugh at that. Throwing the biggest party in the world. I don't know. I want it to be more than that. I don't know what I think it would be. I'll ponder on that, and maybe I'll come up with something before the end of the stream. But the biggest party in the world to be Luffy's biggest dream. Something that he could accomplish when becoming, or something that he could accomplish once he becomes king of the pirates. Something that he could accomplish once he becomes the most free person in the world. Okay, interesting. Okay, let's check the comments. You gotta read Inaru cover story so you can understand more. Yes, I do need to go back and read like a whole bunch of cover stories because I don't know, somehow I ended up skipping a lot of them, or maybe I read them and I wasn't like really paying attention that they were chronological and linear stories within themselves. So yeah, I'll go back and read the cover stories with kind of a more critical eye. And then if you didn't know, the One Piece world is called Blue Star and it has 6 moons. I did not know that. Thank you for telling me. Blue Star. Nah, it's alright. It's like I thought it would be something else. But okay. Alright.
Dance, sing, and laugh together to the rhythm of this funny song. Such joy could connect them in a bond of friendship and brotherhood that will help them put their differences aside. Those who heard and read of his tales and exploits simply laughed at his dream, deeming it nothing more than a childish fantasy and a ridiculous ideal, and yet the pure heart behind this ideal and message, legitimately believing that such a dream could bring an end to all the strife and division that plagued the world, inspired all those who heard of it to the point that they actually wanted to make Nika's dream a reality. So powerful was the message of Joy Boy's story that several kingdoms and countries all across the world came together and pledged an allegiance to make Nika's vision become reality. All these different races, kingdoms, and countries came together to form a single power, an immense kingdom that quite veritably stretched across the entire world. This kingdom was immense, but not in a sense that it was physically big, but that its allies were people scattered and spread all over the world. A kingdom of pirates that wanted to connect the whole world into one piece by making the ideals of the one who had inspired them, Nika, a reality. Inspired by the figure of Nika, the peoples that formed the immense kingdom began to lend their help to each other, and chief among those allies were the Lunaria of the god country, who pledged to make use of their advanced technology to aid their friends. One of those allies was the Kolsky clan of the Wano country, who suffered in their nation under the current ruling emperor, the Ethan Baron family, who commanded Wano with an iron grip to the suffering of its inhabitants. However, with the help of all their allies, the Kolsky clan were able to bring liberation to the Wano country, driving the Ethan Baron family away and establishing a shogunate that would ensure the country's citizens could lead free lives. News of this conflict terrorized the devil tyrants across the world, for they feared that people would keep rebelling and then their heads may be next. However, though the people of the god country had been assisting their allies with their technology, they ran into a considerable issue, being that without their perennial flames native to their tribe, their allies could not power any of their machinery. Genetically augmenting other races would take too long of a process, so they tried to replicate these effects in a faster way by creating a drug they called energy steroids, which could allow others to attain the strength of the Lunaria in a short period of time, attaining the same white hair and red eyes. However, this drug backfired as it caused the genetic code of the user to evolve too quickly, resulting in rapid aging, so the project was quickly discarded and all.
I never thought about where the energy steroids from Fishman Island came from, but I like that he is linking everything together. It was interesting that he included Luffy's kind of backlash / recovery period along with Hodie's. So I guess what he's implying is like the devil fruit itself is kind of a pseudo Lunarian inducing type of object or something, because his eyes do turn red and his hair does turn white. His skin doesn't turn dark, but I mean,
The energy steroids were sealed within the Tamatebako box, which the Ryugu kingdom hid away as its national treasure to ensure that none would suffer its effects again. A more successful application of this was helping the minks attain their Sulong forms, which similarly gave them white hair and red eyes thanks to the power of the Lunaria's homeland, the moon, but this could only be sustained by brief periods of time.
now that he's pointing it out, it's like I can't believe I did not make those connections sooner. Like the whole white hair and red eyes being like a symbol of power and different things. That's super cool.
It is then, however, that a certain person emerged to offer the Lunaria a proposition, a way to accelerate the evolution of people in a far faster and more immediate way. This person was the king of the Nerona family, one of the ruling human kings at the time, who was different from the other devils, instead wanting to assist the people of the god country into making their dreams reality.
So this is essentially the story of kind of how, let's see, how there were all the countries in the world, and then the 20 kingdoms came together to kind of establish the world government. So this right now, I'm assuming is pre-world government. And then the devils that he's talking about are the people who became the celestial dragons, or are the ruling families who Joy Boy is going to rebel against. So this is obviously Emu. Haven't heard much about the Nerona family. But I guess my own personal theory is that I don't I don't know. I don't know if this has already been discussed. I'm not on the One Piece forums or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure Emu was created or has his ability or has had his life sustained because of the op fruit. Whoever the previous user was used their power to make him, her, I don't know, immortal. And I noticed in the dub, my sister and I, we just caught up to, we just finished the last dubbed episode of One Piece. And when they have Emu talking, they made it seem kind of like low and sultry a little bit. That might not be the right word at all, but it sounds like it could go either way. It sounds like it could be a man or a woman who's voicing it. It kind of has like that multi-voice effect in different things. And so, like, if Emu is revealed to be either or, then it would be easy enough for the dub to kind of like switch it over and act like it was the same thing all along. So I thought that was pretty clever of them. I wondered how they were going to do that. Yeah, okay, so Emu's trying to cut a deal or something.
This king had an incredible touch with dealing with plants and nature, and thus suggested to make use of the photosynthetic abilities of the sun tree Eve to concentrate the extracts of bloodline elements. And through what appeared like nothing short of witchcraft, King Emu was able to apply this technology to make the Eve tree give birth to fruits that contain boundless genetic possibilities.
I feel like I already knew this. I can't tell if this is actually from this. I feel like this is actually canon. I feel like this happened. I'll have to go back and check. I'm not sure, but I'll have to go back and check.
Allowing for immediate evolution upon but a single bite. This creation was a truly unparalleled feat, one that would bring an even higher unprecedented age of prosperity for the people of the God Country and their allies, earning Emu's...
So then, well, I mean, I guess according to this theory, it's like what happened to the top of the sun tree Eve. Never mind. Never mind. It's in Sabaody. Never mind. Sorry. Never mind. It's okay. Eve is in Sabaody, and then wait, no, it's not. No. Okay, never mind. Sorry. He has the Sun Tree Eve placed on top of the red line. Sabaody Archipelago is at the bottom of the red line. Those are bubble trees that have roots that go down into Fishman Island. Okay, now I gotta look this up. I knew it. I knew I wasn't insane. Okay, the Sunlight Tree Eve is not located on Sabaody Archipelago. The top of the Sunlight Tree Eve has never been shown in the series, according to Game Rant. I guess this is a good way to familiarize myself with kind of what the fandom is feeling. Okay, so it looks like Archer went with the theory that the Sunlight Tree Eve once extended to the top of Marijois. There are routes from Sabaody Archipelago that go down into Fishman Island, but those aren't the roots of the Sunlight Tree. Massive mangrove trees, see below the red line. So we've never actually seen the Sunlight Tree. But I know Adam is in Elbath for sure. Okay. Okay, well, let's continue this anyway.
Trust as one of their closest allies. So incredible was Imu's control over nature and irrigation that some began to call them the mother of nature, the sea Umi. However, the Lunaria eventually came to a much simpler solution for their issue of powering their technology that didn't even require the use of these fruits, to instead use the endless energy that is found all over the world. They discovered...
And also, the devil fruits are revealed to have been created by people's wishes to change something. But they weren't created by like some scientific thing, or they weren't created by Emu. I don't think so.
The key to solar power and solar fusion, allowing all of their creations to be infinitely powered simply through the energy of the sun. If further developed, then this technology and its wealth could then potentially be distributed across the whole world, allowing to put an end to any war for resources, leading to true world peace. The sun was far more than just a source of power. It was a symbol for the people of the kingdom. They felt that the world had been steeped in a long and dark night, a darkness spread by the devils and tyrants ruling it, and so they wanted to upturn the current corrupt system upside down and instead bring a new dawn onto this night, one that would bask all races in its warmth and allow them to live under the same sun. Thus, they began to refer to the day when they could make Nika's dreams a reality, the day of promise, as the day the world would be turned upside down, and the new era that would come with it as the dawn of the world. With their objective clear in sight, they understood clearly the name they wished to give their newfound alliance. They would call it the Kingdom of Deep, the Kingdom of Dawn. The sun itself became the mark of the Kingdom of Dawn, and became used by all of its allies as a symbol of union and equality under the same sun, to symbolize the ideal of building a world that was truly connected together. The tales of Nika's adventures spread far and wide, with his exploits of defeating tyrannical rulers reaching the ears of many across the world, including those of all slaves and prisoners who were oppressed. They all began to pray to Nika, begging him to deliver them liberation from their suffering. They venerated him like he was a god, he who led the gods of the god country to bring liberation and unite all people under the same sun, the sun god Nika. With wind on their sails, those of the Kingdom of Dawn wished to proceed with making Nika's dream a reality. They wanted to do away with the borders that kept the world divided. More specifically, their goal was to destroy the Red Line and the Grand Line, and to unite all the seas of the world into one piece, which would restore the sea that was lost to legends, the All Blue.
Oh.
The objective of these people was to bring the...
So they're saying that the All Blue technically doesn't exist right now. And I think that's interesting because... Okay, if you think about it, okay. So, the One Piece world, aka, what is it? What was it? Blue Star. Blue Star, essentially, is big circle, north, east, southwest, red line, and then on the other side, red line and the other one. Also, it is hella raining outside. It is a totally dark and stormy night. Blue Star, One Piece. I need to see this. What's the other line called? Okay. Planet Biru. Interesting. Okay. Okay, so that the whole thing is the red line. On one side is Reverse Mountain, and then on the other side is Marie Joie. And so they go up Reverse Mountain. They're sailing in between the North Blue and the West Blue on the Grand Line. And then once they cross the other side, in between the East Blue and South Blue, that's the New World. So right now, I'm not seeing any place where any of these waters would intersect, except for like at the top of the Reverse Mountain, which they've already passed. And then if Sanji wants to find the All Blue, technically that should not exist if the geography of this world is as it is. Because, like, I mean, maybe the North Blue and the East Blue, or like, yeah, there's like no way, because there's the Calm Belt and then the Grand Line. So there's technically no way that the All Blue would exist unless it is destroyed. What is this? Okay, I guess I am very new to the party. If this, what is this? Oh no, this was just March of this year. Okay. Okay. It's like I'm getting all this information and now I just have more questions. So, okay. Or they think it's down there, or I don't know. And see, devil fruit creation is just a Vegapunk theory. So who's, if it is, if, so who's if it's the case? Interesting. Oda said there's some hidden meaning to the One Piece icon. That's an anchor. That's the Straw Hat flag holding the anchor. That's Luffy, or Roger, or Nika, or Man with Straw Hat. Ugh. It's like I want answers, but I also don't want the series to end, and I would like to have both, please, and thank you very much. Okay.
Destruction of the world, but not in a negative sense. Rather, to destroy these barriers isolating the world, to make it truly free and united, to allow people to freely sail across all the seas, and thus to allow people from all over the world to come to Nika's party. The people of Fishman Island and the God Country would lose their homes in the process, but they forged a promise that they would rebuild new settlements on the surface together, for all to live united under the same sun. But to achieve such a world-destroying feat would require mighty power, and so the kingdom put to use their peerless technology and combined prowess with their allies, the shipwrights of Water 7, to build 3 colossal ships that would serve as weapons to destroy these barriers. These ships were each assigned a champion to command them, whom, blessed by the power of the Voice of All Things, a mystical advanced form of observation haki they were able to develop, would have the ability to command enormous creatures that would assist them in commanding these ships. So mighty were their powers that people christened them with the names of gods as well. First was the shogun from the Kosuke family of the Wano country, who, through the Voice of All Things, could command the colossal elephant, Zunisha. He was given possession of a gigantic battleship with the power set to wipe out an entire island in one blast, hidden away beneath Wano for safekeeping. For this position, he inherited the name of the god Pluton. Second was Imu, the ruler of the Nerona family, and the one people now called Umi for their creation of the fruits. Imu had the power to command a titanic flying dragon with the Voice of All Things, and was able to thus lead a colossal starship with the power to wipe out an island in one blast.
I switched from due dates to due dates, and it made me go from weeks behind to weeks ahead.
Wow.
You see, I used to just...
For this power on top of their title as Mother of the Sea, they were also christened as the god Uranus. And third was the mermaid princess of the Neptune family from the Ryugu kingdom. She had the authority to command all sea kings, but her ship, the Ark Noah, was not built with the capability of destruction. Rather, it was built to help emigrate the people of Fishman Island to the surface, as when the Red Line would be destroyed, unavoidably the rubble would destroy the island beneath it.
So they're saying, or he's saying that Emu is one of the kind of 3 people who's meant to assist in the saving of the world, basically saving, destroying. However, I don't know if we've heard Emu listen to the voice of all things. I'm pretty sure we haven't. But the fact that Emu has kind of turned and is now head of the Holy Knights and all the celestial dragons and basically the world, it seems like he shouldn't have done that. Or maybe he's immortal now and he kind of turned on his other 2 people. But yeah, I can't wait to see how Fishman Island plays into all that and how the Noah is brought into that. Because Luffy, like, half destroyed it a little bit. And who said they were... Someone was saying they were sorry to Joy Boy or something, that they couldn't keep a promise. Was that... That wasn't Zunisha. I feel like it was in Fishman Island or something. Okay. Let's see. Just reading. Kid Luffy also wears a shirt that has an anchor just like that icon. Yes, I have that shirt. I like wearing it sometimes. I'm not sure how I feel about that anymore. This is metagaming, but Oda does listen to fan theory, so he might have changed it from this concept originally. I'm gonna have to study and make my own then. The theory goes like this: Nika or Joyboy hang himself in Anchorman. He can never surface, but his hat floated back up. And that's how Emu found his hat. Luffy did say to Kaido, we're nothing but bones when we're dead. Oh, is that where your username came from? Yeah, I do wonder why Nika has a straw hat. And it's like some of these things, it's like, I don't know. I know series, like, over time, they can, like, some series, they have plot points and then they just drop them. And One Piece has been going on for so long that it has a lot of plot points that need to be picked back up. And it is so amazing that I am sure they're not going to drop any of them. Or most of them. I feel like it's going to be okay. And I feel like that big scene with Emu picking up the straw hat or looking at that old dusty crusty straw hat is going to be relevant. Noah's going to be relevant. Yeah.
This was a sacrifice the sea folk were willing to make, so the people of the god country forged a promise with them that would make their dream to coexist with humans a reality. The princess thus took her role as the god.
I just had a thought. So, I guess Nika wants everybody to live together in harmony and all have a big party together. Is that not Big Mom's dream too? Of course, Big Mom had that dream from Mother Carmel, who had that dream in kind of like a sad, like human trafficking, evil type of viewpoint. Except then Big Mom took that dream and tried to make it herself, but she was just also kind of like twisted and had like a bad childhood that never like actually fully healed or anything like that. But I feel like this is very similar, to have like a big party together. I feel like that's exactly what Big Mom wanted with her tea parties and with her wedding. She just really loved food a bunch, which got to be a problem because she ate people. That is probably one of the most disturbing things about this show. But I mean, if I would say I feel like Big Mom's not dead, but then if Big Mom's not dead, then Kaido's not dead, and they did fall into a lake of lava, like in the center of the earth. So I feel like they're done. I feel like they're cooked. If you can see what I did there. But maybe they'll refer back to her or something, because this is feeling oddly similar.
Poseidon. At last, the people of the god
Okay, this might be the last little chunk that I watched today.
country were within reach of achieving their dreams. However, right at the 11th hour, when everything seemed within grasp, betrayal struck.
Emu.
For some reason, the users of the fruits had found themselves completely paralyzed when in contact with water. At first, they thought this had to be some side effect, but some could not help but fear, what if it had been intentional all along? Since Emu was considered by some the sea incarnate with control over water, how come all other users were weak to it? Alas, the horrible truth was apparent. Secretly this whole time, Emu despised all those who ate the fruits, as they loathed and envied the people of the god country, wishing the power and haven they had attained all for themselves. So in secret, Emu had been hatching a plan all along. They created these fruits to cripple the people of the Kingdom of Dawn, to make them all weak to their powers as the sea, but in the process earning their trust to become the commander of the ancient weapon Uranus. Furthermore, Emu had been secretly scheming with the rulers of another 19 human kingdoms to stage an alliance against the god country, in a gambit to usurp their power and achieve their ultimate dream of becoming the king of the world. Offering them to make them gods just like those of the god country, Emu rallied their 19 devils under them and blessed them with the name of celestial dragons, in honor of the dragons Emu could command. The people of the world quickly realized that Emu was far from a god. In fact, they were the very devil itself, just like the devils of those human kingdoms, to the point Emu came to be known as the devil of the sea. And so the cursed fruits they had created came to be known as the devil fruits, those created by the human devils who wished to control the world. Naive and trusting, the residents of this Garden of Eden, the god country, had bit into the forbidden fruits of the devil fruit tree Eve, tempted by the devil and falling into its trap. Driven by their greed, King Emu attained boundless power, consuming their body and mind to turn them into a monster beyond any imagination. The fears and doubts of people had taken form incarnate into this horrifying creature, becoming people's worst nightmare, giving start to a conflict for survival known as the War of Liberation. Pincered in such a Machiavellic plan, the people of the god country were an unavoidable
Hold on.
devil and falling into its trap. Driven by their greed, King Emu attained boundless power, consuming their body and mind to turn them into a monster beyond any imagination. The fears and doubts of people had taken form incarnate into this horrifying creature, becoming people's worst nightmare, giving start to a conflict for survival known as the War of Liberation. Pincered in such a Machiavellic plan, the people of the god country...
That's what just happened to Dorian Broggy. And this was published like a year ago.
were at an unavoidable disadvantage. Their Delphid users could not stand up to Emu's powers as the sea, and the humans had the advantage of numbers as well, not to mention an ancient weapon on their side. It was evident there was no time to lose, and so the kingdom's allies moved to unleash their plan into action and bring forth the destruction of the world by destroying the Red Line and the Grand Line. However, one of their allies refused to act. Despite Pluton's orders to Zunisha, who was imperial in the plans of being for the destruction of the world, the elephant was terrified by the thought of unleashing such a weapon that could destroy the entire planet. He was afraid that if these powers were used in the wrong way, they could quite literally bring death to all. This would prove catastrophic, as without Zunisha, the destruction of the world could not be made a reality, as Emu possessed the other redline-destroying weapon, and thus the dawn of the world could not be brought. This grave crime committed by Zunisha, though bearing good intentions, would spell a critical turning point in the War of Liberation. Followingly, the mermaid princess was killed in conflict, and at that point the kingdom understood very well the future that would await them. It was clear that the war would be lost in due time. Their chances of succeeding were slim at best, and without the three weapons by their side, the dawn of the world could not become a reality.
Okay. Alright. Let's see, let's go back to... Let's see. Okay. Let's see, nothing on this. I forgot which part it was when those comments were made. We first saw him in beast form wearing a mask that had sharp teeth that fish and typical. Okay, well. He might be onto something a little bit. He might be onto something. And like seeing this is making me want to come up with my own theory video. But I do have a lot more research to do before I do that, because I know it's going to be like, I want to say like torn apart, but maybe my theory video will be a bit more like character driven. This is very world driven, and I'm a heavy character girl. So we'll kind of see about that, maybe kind of like so-and-so's motivations and so-and-so's dreams, what they actually are, and different types of things. So yeah, this is pretty neat. About 20 minutes in. Kind of thought I would have gotten further, but again, I don't know. We'll kind of see about continuing this in another video, or the stream next week. I know a new One Piece chapter is coming out next week, so that is exciting. But yeah, this was fun, and I am going to continue to kind of come up with different stream ideas. If anyone has anything, let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next Sunday at the live stream. Bye.